As a dual-degree talented student from a prestigious university, she was confused by a very simple interview question. Can't successfully enter the world's top 100 companies to be a successful professional woman. But she chose to be a full-time babysitter without telling her family. This unusual girl is called Annie. The mother raised her alone and had high expectations of her. With her mother's ardent hope, she successfully entered New York University majoring in finance. She followed her mother's ideas when she graduated, participated in an interview with Goldman Sachs Group, one of the world's top 500 companies. Unexpectedly, an interviewer's question would give Annie a head. This is a question that seems too simple. But actually, on any of us, we may not be able to respond quickly and perfectly. Annie, who has always lived her life following her mother's ideas, does not know how to answer. So she left the interview scene in a hurry. She sat on a bench in a daze thinking about the future. What kind of person will become? At this moment, Annie saw a little boy almost hit by an electric car. She rushed to save the little boy. Mrs. Green, the boy's mother, rushed over to thank Annie. Mrs. Green's eyes lit up when she heard Annie introduce herself. Because her name is too similar to the reaction of men and women, Mrs. Green is also very anxious to find a babysitter to take care of her son. As a typical expensive wife, her daily task is to fish and check the gift and beauty shopping. After the previous babysitter was fired for some reason, without any choice, Mrs. Green could only stay by herself for 2 days. The child was tired enough in just 2 days. So she mistakenly thought Annie was the babysitter, regardless of what Annie said. No matter what you say next, Mrs. Green gave her the business card directly, hoping she could contact herself. Seeing this, other expensive wives also left their contact information. Annie's face was dumbfounded, but it made her suddenly shine. She thinks it is the best practice course in anthropology as a minor. Because although she majored in business, but actually the course she really likes is anthropology. This is the first time she has the opportunity to jump out of the blueprint for the future that her mother has planned for her. So she lied to her mother to find a bank job. Then she went to Mrs. Green's house as a babysitter. Willing to work for this well-paid job will be easy. But soon reality taught her a lesson. In addition to a series of trivial and strange rules of praying for the indifferent, cleaning, and what makes her head ache is the very different attitude of the little boy from when we first met. For the new babysitter, the little boy is 10 million dissatisfied with her. He was crying and clamoring to get the last babysitter back. Even took off Annie's pants and locked her out. This embarrassing scene was seen by a handsome guy. 10,000 grass and mud horses are running in Annie's heart. Although the handsome guy helped Annie out and the little boy opened the door. This level is over, but Annie's hard life has just begun. Don't talk about a feast, even the simplest Annie can't figure it out. There is no way to make a mess. The scholar and the little boy had a French dinner. For example, the same style big meal way. Even the simplest .shr can't figure it out. There is no way to make a mess. Annie simply took out the future. The red boy, the little boy's eyes overflowed with 4 big words, thinking, wait and be afraid. Because Mrs. Green always does not allow young boys to eat this kind of junk food like boys are afraid of being eaten. The little boy was afraid of being scolded by his mother, seeing the eager and scared eyes of the little boy. Annie even feels distressed, assured the little boy that this was the secret that belonged to both of them. They agree that you can eat it for the first time. Unhealthy junk food, the mother said. Actually so. The little boy was very excited. She likes this kind of food. At the same time, he started accepting Annie, who gave him this delicious food. When she was sighing that the children of the rich have their own troubles, but she never saw the new babysitter's benefit performance and his son's rubble. After a minute or two, the process of self-reliance was done. Went to work. It seems that the joke just now was just completing a task without any emotion. Looking at the boy's lost back, Annie felt distressed. At this time, Annie also seems to understand. Why did the little boy react so much to the new babysitter? Because there is not enough care. The warmth that a little boy can get is all from the nanny. The National Day arrived. Mr. Green held a makeup party in the office as usual. The little boy left out by his parents at the party wants to play toys. Coincidentally, This time she ran into the handsome guy again. This is unlucky enough. Every time she meets a handsome guy she feels so embarrassed. Although it's a bit exaggerated now. But it's better than the last time she didn't wear pants. Thinking about it this way, Annie is still a lot relieved. The joy of meeting a handsome guy again didn't last long before it was destroyed again. Back to the party. Annie accidentally discovered Mr. Green's secret to happiness of rich people is really beyond ordinary people's imagination. But the troubles of the rich may also be unimaginable. Mr. Green's infidelity isn't Mrs. Green's job at all. Or maybe Mrs. Green just pretended not to know, but even if you are pretending to be confused, you can't pretend to be confused for a lifetime. After all, they are going to face this long-to-be-broken married girl. The quarrel between the husband and wife grew louder. Compared to the constant disputes between you and me outside, Annie, who was coaxing the little boy in a soft whisper, looked very gentle. The little boy's words made Annie's heart soft. It was the day for Annie to rest on the weekend. But Mrs. Green is going out again today to have a party with her ladies. Don't know where. So many ladies and ladies come to so many gatherings. Where do they come to so many parties? Could it be that X sent him also a fanatic for ladies' vouchers? Fortunately, Annie lost all the restrictions today. Take the little boy her way to Fruit the Weekend oatmeal with sugar. Pigmented smoothie with heavy traffic. High traffic subway smoothie with pigment. These are strange and beautiful to little boys. She thought she could relax at night. She just had no choice but to go to a Queen Mother forum. The content of the symposium is probably that the two sides talk about each other's problems. It has been introduced by several famous people who adjust the time between the babysitter and the employer. They talked about a lot of strange stew problems. But the babysitter would think so. Don't start talking bad about the employer. This clearly means I can't bear to see you. Please fire me. With repeated encouragement from the host, Annie made a reasonable request for a day off. Since you want to have a holiday, I will let you have a good time. Mrs. Green kicked Annie out after home. Depressed, Annie came again to complain with her friends about her sad experience during this period of time. Friends can't listen anymore. Finally come out to gather together. Why don't you leave the rich lady in 3 sentences? At this time, Annie saw that the handsome guy was here. The friend immediately became aware of the appearance of the handsome man to Annie, and also showed a high calmness. So they became a kind of handsome brother. When the handsome brother knew that Annie was the babysitter, ridicule Annie without mercy. But after all, Annie is also a double-degree high-achieving student from a top university. The high-talented student package is first-rate. After going home, she received a message from a handsome guy. He hopes Annie can give him a chance to apologize. Annie felt that the dear ran into him and liked him more. But according to the babysitter agreement, Annie cannot attend a meeting during her tenure. Later, because she was so busy, the little boy forgot about it. Soon a boy's birthday is coming. No one would think of a kid's birthday. The show prepared by parents is actually a French pantomime. For example, children can't understand. She also not understand, but as parents of birthday stars, they are not idle for a moment. Are they busy with their son's birthday? Of course not, that they are still busy arguing. The reason for the quarrel was that the son was not selected as a senior child. The atmosphere is so depressed that Annie can't breathe. At this time, the handsome guy came to find Annie again. In order to prevent Mrs. Green from discovering that Annie unified the handsome guy's date, she arrived on the date. It was delayed due to various things on the night of the date. Annie was so busy that she came here very late. At this time, the restaurant was out of business. So they sat on the stairs outside the museum to eat. They look at the stars, look at the moon, and talk about the philosophy of life. I'm sorry, my brother drank too much. The two mornings were in love with each other. What happens after a romantic evening talk? Needless to say, of course, Annie doesn't care about the rules of the treaties and happiness is king. Soon the wedding anniversary of Mr. Green and Mrs. Green arrived. Mrs. Green spends all the time dressing herself. But what's the use of dressing up? The husband never comes back. So Mrs. Green decided to travel and relax. So Mrs. Green decided to go out and relax regardless of whether her son was sick. The little boy has a high fever and looks uncomfortable. But Mrs. Green cannot be reached. Without any choice, in desperation, Annie had to ask her mother, who is a nurse, to help. After learning that Annie was really working, her mother was very angry and sad, and she left. After sending off her mother, Annie received an invitation from a handsome guy to travel together. But Mr. Green also happened to take the family out on a trip. She knows that Mrs. Green wants to save husband's heart. They won't take good care of the little boy. Annie, who was worried about the boy, had to refuse the invitation of the handsome guy. Annie and the little boy's family traveled to the island. Unexpectedly during the trip, Mr. Green had a big heart for Anne. He was hit by Mrs. Green when he was about to move her hands and feet to Annie. But Mrs. Green didn't blame her husband, but drove Annie away. The little boy was heartbroken, cried the child, while chasing the car. During the trip, Annie heard that Mrs. Green was worried about her. She also installed a camera at home to stare at herself. She returned to home. Really can't bear the anger in the heart. After she responded to the ruin search together, she finally found the camera. After looking through the boxes and cabinets, yelled out all the grievances and dissatisfaction with this couple. Mrs. Green took this video to the babysitter forum. She didn't expect Mrs. Green to wake up after watching the video, and she was also awakened by Annie's last words. She finally put down her status as a lady and chose to divorce, raising his son alone once to make up for his debt to him. She even wrote thanks to the handsome trustee for transferring it to Annie. After Annie and her mother reconciled, she also signed up for postgraduate study. Since then started a new life of her own. Today's movie will be over. Favorite helpers can click in comments subcontract.